Good afternoon, Ervin. Thanks for accepting to reply to all my questions.
Hi, Stefania, and hello to everybody.
So I would like to ask you a very general question first. I really want to know, what are the main changes of GloFAS 3.4?
So in this new 3.4 version, basically we introduced changes, improvements around two main aspects. One of them is around how we identify the flood events. So basically we did changes which will help the users to better and easier identifying these flood events. And the other one will improve the consistency between the existing products, in particular the reporting point layer and the flood summary layers.
Oh, that sounds really promising. I want to know many more details. Maybe let's start from something simple, the map viewer. First of all, can you please remind us in which layers we can have flood forecast information of the map viewer?
Yes, there are two main types of layers where we actually provide information about upcoming floods in GloFAS. The first one is the reporting point layer, where you see lots of markers, which will highlight representative river points with extra flood information around the rivers which are impacted. And the other one are probability layers, basically, that show different flood characteristics, but this time over the full GloFAS river network. From this group, we have the 5 and 20-year exceedance probability layers, and now 4 probabilistic flood summary layers. We had always 3 of these, and over the 3 periods, and now a new one we introduced in 3.4, which is around over the whole 30-day period. And the new product is also used in the definition of the reporting point generation, the location, and also the appearance.
The exceedance probability layer and the flood summary layer sounds quite similar. Can you please explain us the exact difference between these two layers?
Yes, you're absolutely right. These highlight two slightly different aspects of the probabilities. The 5 and 20-year exceedance probabilities show specifically the chance to exceed these two thresholds, so the 5 and the 20-year return period thresholds. On the other hand, the flood summary layers combine all these, not just these two, but also adding the 2-year probability, so the 2, 5, and 20-year exceedance probabilities into one single combined probability-based product.
I see. So you mentioned before that with GloFAS 3.4, it's easier to identify areas with upcoming floods. I really want to know more about this because I think it's really important for all the users to be able to read all the layers in order to understand the information. Could you please provide more details about these changes? And in a pragmatic way, what is the benefit for the users? What do we see?
Yeah, absolutely relevant question. The main changes are clearly associated with the reporting point layer, basically how we provide this flood information and which points we actually provide it for. We introduced two main new features. The first one is to provide information on these existing or expected upcoming floods, basically everywhere, pretty much everywhere, as we would say. We always had two types of reporting points, the fixed point and the dynamic points, which are only provided in areas which are flooded, and the fixed are always there because, as the name suggests, they are fixed. And an important methodology in this new version 3.4 basically enabled us to show these dynamic points pretty much everywhere where some kind of floods are expected on the river network. Before it was not the case. So we really believe we provide better coverage now and at the same time better consistency with other layers. This improvement means that user can really investigate what is happening in the entirety of the river network that is impacted, and it is in their interest of area. The second feature is to highlight the expected timing of the flood peak on the map, which was not available before. So this is done by using a different border or a different color of the symbol. For example, floods which are expected to peak in the first 3 days of the forecast horizon are now displayed by a black border around the marker, while different floods that are expected only much later at the end of the period, for example, beyond day 10, they are shown by a grayed version of the colors.
That's really effective indeed. So I see that the reporting point layer is really key also in GloFAS 3.4. And I have to say that I like to click on the reporting point itself and look at the information provided by the pop-out window, because there I can see some metadata of the station. I can see the flood forecast for the 30 days. I can see the meteorological input. But I also have a question on this pop-out window, because on the metadata, sometimes I see the river name and information about the station. Sometimes I don't see anything. I don't have this specific metadata. Is this difference related to the two types of reporting point that you just mentioned?
Yes, absolutely. That's really the case. It relates to these two different types of reporting points we have, and I mentioned earlier. The fixed points are shown all the time, and they were selected because we know about gauges, so observation gauges, or users particularly requested us to add these points, which is a possibility to basically add points over the map viewer. And this means that metadata is available because they sent it to us. We could actually go out and find these pieces of metadata and will appear in the pop-out window. However, the dynamic points can be anywhere. So basically, we don't have all this wealth of metadata information. So we really can just provide the location, so the latitude, longitude, and the upstream area, which is basically the limitation.
Okay, thanks for this explanation. I really understand it now. I still have another question about the reporting points. I used to look at the color of the reporting points, and the different intensity of the color would show the probability. But I seem not to be able to see different intensity of colors in GloFAS 3.4. Am I missing something, or did you remove this information?
Yes, you are right, Stefania. We did remove this, so the flood probability information is not shown anymore by the color of the reporting point symbol. However, we kept the number, so there is still a number appearing next to the marker, which highlights the exceedance probability of the flood category that we assign to this point based on all the different probabilistic flood information. But the good news is that we still have this information. It is just provided in another layer now in the revised, redesigned flood summary layers, of which the days 1 to 30, the one we newly introduced, basically that's where you will see this probability information appearing now in version 3.4.
Okay, so it means that now with GloFAS 3.4, the reporting point layer and the flood summary layer are more strongly related, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So this is what has happened. These products now really share the same methodology, and this methodology is based on the three exceedance probabilities, and we believe they will really supplement each other. And we hope this is really going to make the products easier to interpret for the users.
Okay. And what about the pop-out window? Did you also improve? I mean, did you also bring these improvements into the information provided by the pop-out window?
Yes, absolutely. So we also carried this change towards better consistency into the pop-out windows, and the probability value ranges and colors are handled exactly the same way across all these products in the version 3.4, not only in the flood summary layer and the reporting point layer, but also in the pop-out window at the bottom. You have these tables about the flood probabilities. So there we use now the same colors, the same value ranges and everything across basically consistently.
Wow, okay. Ervin, thank you so much for all these useful answers. I really have a bigger picture now, and I understand that we as users really must try to go to the details of all the improvements introduced by GloFAS 3.4 in order to benefit of it. I would suggest that for the purpose of better understanding and going to the details, we can stop our chat now.